So I've decided to call this, I'm no longer going to ignore it. I'm no longer going to mind my own business. And this is kind of a part two, almost to the dangers of being cool with wicked people. But it's going to be kind of different because what I didn't realize is that we all have been a part of being cool with the wicked. And this is what I mean by that. And when I say the wicked, I don't necessarily put a judgment on anybody. Excuse me. I'm trying to describe it in the best way I can that's being used today with an English language, but it's not necessarily a judgment on somebody else. It's a certain characteristic that people observe someone doing to somebody else. And they know it's something that causes somebody else a lot of harm. But as long as they're not the ones being harmed, they don't care what they see. But I already did that one yesterday. So what I want to talk about today is how we all have played a part in that when we constantly tolerate this particular world, and I'm talking about the world as a collective as we kind of perceive it, the world that we perceive currently, right? The world that we perceive currently, because it's mental, it's not necessarily physical. We identify with the material world, but that doesn't make it material. Just because we identify with it, that means our consciousness is kind of is low. Okay. But the world is mental, and it's probably beyond that. Because when you hear a lot of people say one thing, then it's actually bigger than what people are saying. So even though people say the world is mental, everything is mental, well then the people, if that was just the case, honestly, so that proved I just got a confirmation that I won't say what it is. If that was the case and the world was just mental, and if that was what people needed to know, then the people that's really running this complete world wouldn't be able to run it if that was the secret, that the world is mental. So I don't even believe that is the end all be all, to be honest with you, but certainly not no physical world. That's out. That's out. And I really hate being so stuck in a physical type of mentality, because there's too many doggone problems in the physical. There's too many problems. Literally. You eliminate a physical mindset, rise beyond a physical mindset, it'll be limitless what you'll be able to do. The physical mindset is like, it's a freaking anchor. But that's not the point of this upload. What I want to talk about, somebody asked me, could I do a part two? And I think it's a good idea, but I'm not going to just say, I wasn't going to say anything just to be saying it, so I wasn't going to just try to upload anything just to talk about nothing if I don't really have anything to talk about. But I was looking at what's really controlling this world. And I was trying not to, when I see, true enough, I might not be necessarily cool with a person that I have witnessed do something to other people, but at the same time, what do we call it when we tolerate this particular world, or when we continue to want to perceive the world the way it is? Granted, you can manifest what you want. People say they manifest a nice house, they manifest a car, they manifest a job they like, they manifest a company, they manifest a business. But then you still got these people that run this world that's in your reality. Mark Zuckerberg still shouldn't be in your reality anymore. He's creating a metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg needs to get the fuck out of our realities. He needs to get the fuck out. He's creating a metaverse. He already created it. What am I talking about? No, there's a time loop. I'm not going to say we are. I'm not going to affirm that. There's a time loop. That thing has already been created. And how do you know how long it's been created with a time loop? How do you know when it really was created, first created it? There's a lot of people that need to get out of our perception of reality, but we keep tolerating them. What is it when you keep using Facebook? I don't really use Facebook, but I still have a profile page in there, but I don't use Facebook, but I still have a profile page. It's kind of the same way as I'm subscribed to certain people on my other channel, and even though I haven't looked at them in years, I'm still subscribed because I haven't thought to go through my list and just unsubscribe. I just didn't feel like taking the time to do it. But the thing is that what do we call that then? Is that the same thing when we tolerate the perception of reality as we perceive it right now with so many evil companies, even McDonald's, even if you don't eat there? These are big businesses, big companies that survive off of blood sacrifices. They are so big, including Target. I shop there, including Walmart. I really don't shop there because it's Target. I go to Target, but still, is Target any better? My point is a lot of those big businesses are like the way they are off of other people's of blood sacrifices. And you know, it's almost like it's almost the same as being cool with the wicked person that you witnessed do so much nasty things to somebody else. Well, how cool is it to be okay with this current perception of reality? How cool is that? That we know a lot of these big businesses thrive off of blood. And a lot of people know a lot of history, more than you know. But then we still go to these places. We still go to these places to shop. Well, listen, still order from Amazon. Is Jeff Bezos a nice guy? My point is, it's not to judge him either. Is he what Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk? Because this is not about judging anybody. I don't want to see. That's what good people like to do. They like to act like, well, I don't want to judge. It's not about judging who they are. It's what they doing. It's what they're doing. Does it line up with what you want to see in your reality? It ain't got nothing to do with them being a good person. It ain't got nothing to do with judging them. I don't even think Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg even talk like that. Honestly, they don't care. If they just might not like what you're doing. Whatever their plans are, and your plans, if it don't line up with what their plans are, it just don't line up and they're going to get rid of you. It ain't got nothing to do with judging you. Your plans don't line up with their plans. And if they want to dominate, then they got to move aside what don't agree with them. But a lot of us are not moving aside what don't agree with us. Mark Zuckerberg don't agree with me. Creating a metaverse, do people know that's going to be listen, I was listening to somebody, but I didn't have to listen to them to hear it. I just like to hear it because it's confirmation of what I was thinking. Metaverse is beyond a playing with a virtual reality, basically because we've been in one for such a long time anyway. It just wasn't called the metaverse. It was called the multiverse. Okay? But the metaverse, I mean, what he wants to do is to colonize people's consciousness. I mean, people are buying land in the metaverse. Like they're buying land. What does that mean? They already getting mega churches the same way these mega churches did with the whole, you know, the COV thing they wanted to bring to the public in 2020. They always get these mega churches involved, and they got these mega churches involved in the metaverse, telling their members. And I've seen this from looking at somebody else's YouTube video. I'm gonna say his name. The YouTube, the name on the YouTube channel is called Moon, Moon. That's his username. It's Moon. His name is Moon. And so he does a lot of videos talking about why Facebook is evil, why Metaverse is evil, why the Matrix tried to warn you and Truman Show tried to warn you, stuff like, you know, he makes a lot of videos like that. And so I like to listen to what he says because I don't really stay into a lot of news and a lot of circles where people talk about stuff like this. So I just like to hear what other folks like to say. He probably not saying anything different than what a lot of folks know, but I like to hear what he has to say. And anyway, so, I mean, people are buying land. Mark Zuckerberg has invested a lot of money into the metaverse. A lot of billionaires have invested a lot of money into the metaverse. A lot of people have bought land in the metaverse. What is that telling you? That a lot of people are going to be carried over to the metaverse. And you know what? People always say, well, not me. I don't know. It just seems like history repeats itself when people like to say, not me, not me. It seems like history just continues to repeat itself and people feel like they're not going to be the ones to get caught up. Because if you feel like you're not going to be the one to get caught up, You're going to have to do something to make sure you don't get caught up. You're going to have to be aware every single moment you can be aware to make sure you don't get caught up. Because people like to say, not me, not me, not me. How many Christians talked about the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast, and act like they were so goody-goody and they were so close to God, whatever God they try to serve. I don't know what God, I think Elon Musk might know the God they serve better than they do, though. I think Mark Zuckerberg might have a closer relationship with the God the Christian serves than the Christians actually have a relationship with. So I think Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these other, and Jeff Bezos, I think they might have a closer relationship with that God of the Christian Bible. I just think, and this is not a criticism, I just believe they got a closer relationship. Okay, so anyway, the point is, when people say not me, not me, not me, it's like people are so predictable when they like to say not me. Like, you can do something to fight back, and you can fight back. But if you just feel like you have to be active in being constantly aware, you have to constantly be aware. And what I mean by aware is I'm talking about spiritually aware. I'm talking about you gotta get out the physical world. You gotta get out the illusion. You gotta make a daily practice of getting out the doggone illusion, which is the physical world, if you wanna be so aware to make sure you don't get stuck up in that metaverse. Because you just can't be something busy all day and constantly focus on the physical world and you think you won't be caught up there. See, that's the same thing folks did with the doggone COV. So many movies, so many people talk about these Simpsons predictions where I can't get stuck on the Simpson predictions anymore. Because whoever's writing the Simpsons, they already know it. They probably part of the group of people that's controlling things, and so they write this stuff in the cartoons as a way to put out whatever they've been planning in the first place. So I don't get into that. Ooh, the Simpsons. Well, it's because whoever's in control of that doggone cartoon or show, they're part of the plan of whatever going on. They're part of the pandemic too. They're part of whatever's going on or whatever's being played out on this stage. They're part of it. So nothing is a surprise to them unless something comes along to change up the script. Then they can't make a episode on that because something happened to change up the script. Something happened to throw off the timeline. So now they can't predict nothing else. Okay. But yeah. Now, what I was saying was so many Christians was talking about the mark of the beast. So many Christians, and they act like they and I'm talking about the ones that was doing this. I'm not criticizing anybody for being a Christian. I don't care what people are. But I'm talking about the ones that was doing this. They were acting like they were so, they were just so invincible, like nothing could touch them. Oh, the mark of the beast for the years, the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast, well, this and this, well, be careful with this, and don't take this, and don't take this, well, be careful, be careful. And as soon as the COV thing came, you ain't see hardly no churches trying to fight back when they shut everything down for 2 weeks and told people they couldn't even meet up in church, though, for a long time in certain states. They couldn't even meet up in church. But you ain't hardly see no church folks making a big fight about that. Why? Because if the God you serve will protect you from anything, the churches should not have been closed down. So they closed down all the churches, but then they allow Black Lives Matter to have all these crazy protests where people shoulder to shoulder and rubbing shoulders and stuff, and they mask all up under their nose and stuff, and they acting all violent and doing all kinds of crazy stuff and fighting and stuff and having guns all over the place. But you stop people from meeting in church, though. That's letting you know who's really running things, and that's letting you know what God is really running, that's controlling things. And it's not the God that people want to perceive in their minds. It's not that kind of God that people wanted to perceive this God as. Okay? And so, yeah. But now I look at the COV, and I look how things played out, and I look how a lot of churches promoted, that thing, that they wanted people to take. A lot of churches promoted that. And it's like, it just brought me back to saying this is like, okay, they were the main ones saying, and this is just an example, not to get on them. They were the main ones saying, be careful, mark of the beast, mark of the beast, be careful, such and such and such and such. Well, you're not going to be able to get out of it. You're going to be caught up in it, because if you're not doing anything on yourself spiritually to make sure you don't get caught up in it, you're going to have to do whatever you're told to do to survive. So you can't just say, not me, not me, not me. And that brings me back to this metaverse. I just brought up the whole Christian thing because those are the main ones I will always see online, talking about the mark of the beast and always trying to scare folks and talking about the book of Revelation like they really can interpret it. Okay, like they really can interpret it. You know, and just wanted to act like nothing could happen to them. Like they trying to warn everybody else, but like nothing could happen to them. Okay, and then you see them get caught up in 2020. You see so many Christians that got caught up in what they have to do to survive. They got caught up in what they had to do to survive. So it's no longer a point where you can say, not me, not me, not me. Yeah, you, unless you take every single day, you make a point to make sure you do something to make sure you're not caught up. If you're not doing that, how you going to know that you're not caught up? I mean, people don't know how slick this stuff is. So what I was saying about the metaverse is that the fact that people are buying land and the people are, and you got these billionaires investing in it. By the way, billionaires invested in Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. Billionaires invested in that too. But I don't think they took it themselves though, but they invested in it. Okay. So because they knew they're not the ones that have to take that to be able to buy things. I know in China they probably going to have that going on where everybody has to have it over there in order to buy things. Okay, and once again, people are like, well, not me. How do you know? Because if it's not going to be you, you're going to have to make steps right now to make sure that don't happen to you. Okay, and I'm talking about spiritually. I ain't talking about moving somewhere in the woods. I'm talking about you're going to do something spiritually. You know, I mean, it's probably good to move around, but at the same time, you're going to have to be pretty self-sufficient. When you get off grid like that and you're not around people, first of all, if something happened to you, it's going to be hard to call an ambulance. So you got to be able to help take care of yourself if something happened to you. It's going to be hard to get an ambulance out there. You in the middle of nowhere. But then you have to be darn self-sufficient. That is, off-grid is not easy for everybody. And I've looked at off-grid videos with their tutorials, and it ain't easy for everybody. You know, and so you got to be careful. You can't just say not me, not me. That's why I always promote spirituality over physical, always, because physically it only lasts for so long. It only lasts for so long. Yeah, but. Yeah, I see these mega churches. This guy on his YouTube channel was showing what these mega churches already got doggone services going on in the metaverse. And they're inviting their members of the church. And they're inviting their church members to join them in the doggone metaverse for services. Okay? So now they're going to get to a point where they're going to start having online classes in the metaverse. And I don't feel like, it might be a lot of people that's going to say, no, well, it won't be me, but I think it's going to be a whole lot of people. I think it's only going to be a few people that won't get caught up in that. Okay? But here is my point in what I'm saying. I'm no longer going to ignore it. So this is why I'm going back in the beginning, because I'm about to end. I'm no longer going to say I'm going to mind my own business. I'm no longer going to say, well, when you say they're not doing anything to me, that's basically the same thing as what I said in my last upload about being cool with the wicked because they're not doing anything to you. Saying that I'm going to mind my own business is turning a blind eye to so much that we have already saw in our basic perception of reality. It's turning a blind eye to everything that we already seen already and saying you're just going to live and let it go because it's not us. But they're doing everything they can to remove people, and not necessarily remove people, but they're doing everything they can to control people's consciousness. Like, they won't relent on that. Mark Zuckerberg is not going to relent on that. Elon Musk, I guess, I don't know, somewhere where he was prophesied as the king of Mars. Wherever Mars is, he's supposed to be the king of Mars. Honestly, Donald Trump was predicted to be the planetary president of so-called Earth. So these people, these entities are not going to relent in what they want to control. But then you have some of us that's like, well, let me mind my own business. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. No, that's evil. And I'm going to say this too, because I'm going to call myself out. Tolerating this bullshit any longer because we got to go to work or because we got to take our kids to school. I don't have kids, so when I say we got to take our kids to school, I'm just talking about people in general that got to take care of their children. But constantly tolerating this shit that we know is fucking evil, and when I call it evil, I just mean it's completely against nature, it's completely against the spirit, it's completely against the soul. It's anti-soul, it's anti-spirit, it's anti-nature. And we tolerate it. That's evil. That is fucking evil. That's evil. I can't say that enough. How fucking dare we allow them to go this fucking far? And see, that's why I upload these kind of videos, because I didn't know I was going to say what I just said with that kind of fire, because when you just hold things in and think about it, then nothing happens with it. You got to say things out loud. And that's why I do these uploads, because sometimes I need to talk out loud, because what I'm doing is I'm actually kind of talking to myself, but I'm uploading videos so I can have an audience, so I can like really say what I want to say, but I'm really kind of talking to myself. That's fucking evil. That we sat here and tolerated this mess this fucking long, and we think we better than the other folks that hang around somebody like I said in my last upload. They can witness somebody committing genocide. They can witness somebody doing all kind of nasty stuff to other folks, and just say, well, forget them. It ain't happened to me. Forget them. But that's what the fuck we do. How dare we let them get this far with destroying nature? And we let them destroy us because we GMO now. I'm sorry, but if you're in the United States of America, especially, you're GMO. But even Africa, like a lot of Freemasons and stuff, they run a lot of Africa too. So everybody from the United States that's brown skinned, that's brown, want to go to Africa, the motherland. You got the West that's kind of running that motherland. I listened to a lady from Kenya, and she talked about how the Freemasons control Kenya. All these nice areas in Africa that's good to run to, not run, but just to go live. That's really, it has a lot of nature. And you got them controlled by the West. You got them controlled by Freemasons. It might not necessarily be the West, but I think it's the West. So then Africa ain't got no real power. If you got the West, if you got Freemasons and all these other big societies and organizations controlling Africa, a lot of parts of Africa, the same way they control the United States, what good is it to go over there when it's really you're not necessarily independent over there, not in that particular area. Okay? And so even over there, not just folks in the United States, but even over there, like why did they allow, especially the motherland, why did they sit back and allow these entities to come and destroy it? They just can't, they go in and they're destroying everything. Okay? It's really, what good people are there? There are no good people. The good people to me is Elon Musk. He's probably a good person. And when I say good, I don't care about what they're doing. When I call them good, I don't care about what they've done for others, because truth be told, Elon Musk could have given more to people than I could give, because he has more resources to give it. Okay? I think Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are better people than a lot of us are. And here's why I say it. Because when they want to do something, when they want something to change, regardless if I agree with it or not, whatever he wants, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, whoever it is, whatever they want, however they perception they have, how they want to see the world, they're gonna do what it takes to get there. So they're actually better. They're actually better because they're proactive in creating the world they want. And then you have passive folks that just want to complain about how wrong they are and what they're doing, but then they're not doing anything to move them the fuck out the way. If you don't like what they're doing, move them out the way. But we can't sit back and talk about, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, that's so evil, look at that metaverse. I don't see so many people talk about the metaverse and how evil it is, but a lot of people that talk about the metaverse and talk about how evil it is, they're going to end up in the metaverse. Because that's always like that. That's always the case. Every time somebody want to get on board and talk about the mark of the beast, want to talk about what they won't do, they end up doing it. I already saw when I saw a bunch of Christians before when I used to first start watching YouTube, and you saw all these other people talking about the mark of the beast and acting like they so holy that nothing can't get to them. And when they shut down them doggone churches during that lockdown, them churches, they couldn't have service inside them doggone churches. That let you know who was in charge. Okay, that let you know who was in charge. Okay? And one guy, I think he was in Florida, tried to have service anyway, and he got arrested. They letting you know who's the boss. And whatever God they think, and think is the magic word here. Okay, think. Whatever God they think they're serving was okay with those churches being locked down. Okay? But anyway, yeah. But that's all I want to say. I don't have anything else because I like to, a lot of these uploads is for me to talk to myself. But for us to sit back, because we have somewhat of a decent life. I mean, I shouldn't even be tolerating shit at this point. I shouldn't tolerate shit. And we need to get out of the fact that we have to work every day. It's time to take 2 hours every day to just detox that from your freaking mind that you got to freaking work every day, because that's stopping you from getting your power back. Having it in your mind and programmed in your mind that you have to work every day is stopping you from getting your power back. Okay? So we have to make a point to detox that every chance we get. We can't keep using this as an excuse of taking care of children. We can't keep using it as an excuse to allow the crazy tycoons to just take over like that. Then colonize people's consciousness to the point where they're stuck in a virtual reality where they'll be eternally separated from their soul. And to sit back and be okay with that, and we have allowed them to just just tear up nature. We have sat back and allowed it because we got to work. We got to make money. We got to pay the bills. And you know what? It's probably real bad for people that's not in the United States of America, because what I notice is that people around the world, I notice how they like to criticize the Western world and how they like to talk about the United Snakes of America and really put down folks and put down Americans. But why? What's wrong with your country though? Because their country is still run by corrupt. Their countries are still controlled by corruption. So what are you doing to move that over? Because I hear so many people, even in other countries, that want to put down the United States of America and put down the citizens of the United States of America as if they are so superior in spirituality, but at the same time, their country is run by corruption. If you're supposed to be so spiritual, but you got a country that's controlled by corruption, you ain't that fucking spiritual. Because if you have a mass, a collective of consciousness of people that's really highly spiritual like that and a high vibration, corruption wouldn't even be able to run it, because the vibration would be so high that corruption wouldn't even be able to stand like that. So the fact that you have that level of corruption in these areas mean those people are not that spiritual, because the vibration would be too high if they were. So that lets you know they ain't all that. Well, they want to talk about United States of America. So when I say wicked, I'm talking about people in general are just fucking evil. But especially the ones that live in all these other different countries that feel like they somehow are more spiritual than folks in the United States of America. But at the same time, they're run by governments and they're run by corruption, and they have all these rules and stuff too. They should have got that. They should have nipped that shit in the bud. Why didn't they do it? Because they ain't no better than the folks in the United States. That's why. And they evil. And Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, those are the good people. Those are the good people. And they're the good people because they have an idea of what they want and they go for it. I don't care where they're at the top. They have see, people like to make excuses. Where certain people are picked. I don't care who's picked. I don't care who's picked. If you don't like what you see, if I don't like what I see, if I don't like what I'm perceiving right now, do something about it. If you're working and you're tired of having to work all the time because it's keeping you from being what you're supposed to be, do something about it. But it's evil just to be okay with mediocre. That's evil. And Mark Zuckerberg is better. I don't care about his metaverse. He's better. He is better. Because whatever he wants, he don't let shit get in his way. He's better. Elon Musk is better. They deserve whatever they do. I don't care how evil it seems. It's well deserved for them because they're better. Whatever they want, they don't let shit get in their way. And I don't care who's allowing them to rise to the top. That's how it is with black folks. And I was listening to somebody's video today. He said, what if black people really run the world? Listen to my video about the big black lie. Listen to my video about the big black lie. I always suspected that the world was still run by, really, I mean, we can say a black man, but I suspect it's a black woman. I suspect it's a black woman. Okay? We can say it's a black man. I believe a black man is at the top too, but I think at the very top is a black woman. All right? That's why I call it the big black lie. Fuck blackness, fuck Black Lives Matter, fuck the narrative. I always felt that this shit was run by black folks and they put white folks at the forefront so we won't see the truth. Because they had to sacrifice a large amount of so-called black people around the world, not just the United States of America. Maybe they had to use a group of people to put them in a certain supremacy, what they thought was a supremacy, because maybe a large number need to be sacrificed. Maybe they need to clean some stuff out so they can go back to what they were. But people talk about how the white man ain't gonna give, and I know I've said this before too, but see, I have a different insight. People talk about how the white man ain't gonna give up his power. No, the black man ain't gonna give up his power. You see a lot of black men sacrificing. You know, people want to call them, whatever they want to call them. I think it's still a black man that's running things. But a lot of that person is sacrificing a lot of black people because maybe a lot of black people had to be sacrificed. Something happened. Something happened where whatever happened when so-called black people was all over the world, all over the planet, the so-called planet. Something happened, and they had to just take a back seat and be hidden and sacrifice a whole lot of so-called black people around the world. Okay. So I say that to say, forget all that blackness and forget all that stuff. Okay. And I was listening to somebody today about, he was just talking about some of the celebrities and Bill Cosby and all that stuff, and how they already know about some of that is really, the world is really controlled by black people. And you have certain black celebrities that know that, and you have some of them that get put in certain positions because they could be a part of it. But anyway, that's all I really got to say though. That's all I really want to say though. But that's it. this was just kind of a part two to kind of a part two to the dangers of being cool with wicked people. But then it's like I realized that maybe those people are not, what we consider as wicked is because what they're doing we don't necessarily agree with. But that don't make it necessarily evil, because they don't see it as evil. They can't see what evil, if that's what they are. They can't go beyond what they are. So if we are not agreeing with what they're doing, then we need to do something to change it. And it can't be no more excuses. And the fact that we continue to make excuses of why we can't change something is the reason why people like Elon Musk, is the reason why people like Putin, is the reason why Mark Zuckerberg, they're better. They're better people. Okay? And forget who put them in power. Okay? What about your power? What about your power? What about my power? What about that? And the fact that, you can see all over the internet that the world is mental. I get that the world is mental, and I get that the physical world is an illusion. But I believe it's bigger than that. Because if it was just mental, and if that what it was all about, and thoughts of things, and create your reality with your thoughts, yeah, okay. When people ain't no longer messing with your mental and trying to throw all kinds of stuff at you and throw all kinds of mental magic, trying to mess with your inner world, once you get that cleared out, you can pretty much get whatever you want. I agree with that. When you have people that's not trying to manipulate your mind, because your mind is not inside your head. Your mind is not inside your head. I'm trying to get somewhere with that. The brain is the matrix. Your mind is not inside your head. So yeah, you can create whatever world you want with thoughts and all that stuff, or focusing on it, or intention. But you're using the brain that's not inside your head, so who's controlling that brain? Okay? Who's controlling that brain? If it's not even inside your head, because we're not even physical. Okay? And it's not your original soul either. That's a lot of people are not using their original soul's intelligence, so they're using another brain. That's an AI brain that we've been using this whole time. Who controls it? So it's beyond the world is mental. You can create it when ain't nobody messing with you. Yeah. When ain't nobody fucking with you, you can create it. But when you got controllers of the matrix that know it's bigger than the world being mental, and because you're using a brain that's actually an AI. And they know that, and they control it. And you can think all you want to and have intention all you want to. If they in control, they can fuck up your reality. No matter how much you try to focus and have intention. Okay? So we talking about getting into some real power here. And if you're not ready, it's like that song, Get Information. But information, get information first. INFORMAT, information. Get information before you try to do anything. Because they know too much, they know too much, and when they know too much, that means they have too much power. So get real, actual information. And the more you learn, the more you do. Or because if you don't do anything with the more what you learn, then you're not going to get access to any more information. So whatever information you get, do something about it. And then you get more information. Okay? That's all I got to say. I don't feel like repeating myself, because if I go any longer, I'm going to repeat myself. And that is it, and I will talk to you later.